My name is Rance, and today we have two awesome guys joining us. We got Toby White, who is the founder of the Jim and Jam Music Festival, and we also have his partner, Josh Pollack, who helps to run the thing. Hi, guys. How's it going?
Going great.
Going pretty well here.
Fantastic. So tell me, what's Jim and Jam?
Jam and Jam is a multi-day festival that includes art, music, performances, gem show, all sorts of different kinds of market vending, healing sanctuary. It's kind of an all-inclusive festival.
What do you think separates it from other similar festivals?
Well, Gem and Jam's cool because it actually coincides with the Tucson Gem and Mineral Show, which is the largest in the world. It's kind of how the idea originally started. Over time, this has sort of progressed into being its own sort of self-contained gem show, where people are coming down specifically for the Gem Jam Festival rather than the actual larger event that happens in Tucson. But it also allows for people to kind of leave the event and go and check out this very large, very cool thing that's going on in Tucson.
I mean, that's a incredibly smart marketing strategy, basically. Like, something else is going on, so bring it in. Tell me, you started in 2005, correct?
That's correct.
And you were the founder of the festival. And you have moved venues a few times and taken a couple of hiatuses. What has kept it sustained all this time, and why is it still able to go in 2022?
I think the passion kept it alive for a long time. Had a lot of different challenges. It's from its start. It's come a long way. It started as much more of a just kind of an after party for this particular event that was going on in Tucson. Over time, it started becoming more of its own event that people were coming to while they were in the city for the Gem Show. And over time now, it's, like I said, it's kind of the reason people come here. So what's changed with that? I think so many different things over the years. As Josh mentioned, there was a hiatus in 2010, and that was a result of just the economy at that time. There was people were not coming to Tucson, so the event took a kind of a hit at that point and kind of made me second guess doing it again. In 2012, it was sort of, it seemed like the right time. The festival market was sort of, booming again, and getting involved with the right partners, Josh being one of them, seemed like that was the right time to kind of keep this going again. At that point, we really saw the potential for growth, and that's when it became more of a show and then became more of a festival at that point.
So, you've changed venues a few times. Have the choice of venues coincided with the evolution of what the festival is?
Absolutely.
And contributed even?
There was more of a club sort of type event for the first 5 or 6 years. Then it became a theater that we had that was the Rialto Theater in downtown Tucson. We kind of expanded into the outside parking lot to kind of give it that, little bit of a festival feel, but it still kind of was not quite there. We moved over to the Slaughterhouse, which is another spot just right outside of town. That allowed us to kind of still have it expanded on the festival idea, but there wasn't camping initially to start that off. We eventually kind of brought in a little bit of camping. People were still staying in hotels. It didn't have that all-inclusive sort of feeling until we finally moved to the fairgrounds, where the infrastructure was there to just kind of, do whatever we wanted and expand from there.
So how did you get involved, Josh?
Yeah, Toby and I have known each other for a while, and I believe actually the first event that we worked together on was a party in San Francisco. Toby's actually one of the partners in Symbiosis Gathering. So we had done an official pre-party for Symbiosis, and we had actually known each other for a lot longer before then. back in the day, kind of how I got my start in the industry was doing after parties for the band STS9, who's actually headlining Gem and Jam this year and had headlined a couple of years ago as well. And Toby also had his own promotion company back many moons ago and was also doing STS9 after parties. So we had like some crossover there, a lot of mutual friends. And then, that kind of symbiosis pre-party in San Francisco kind of just sparked this conversation. How do we work together some more? Toby mentioned that he was thinking about bringing back Gem and Jam, and obviously just kind of like jumped at that opportunity because that event was very much on my radar. Hadn't been before that, but just, very much like coinciding circles of friends, and just one that I definitely had a lot of respect for. So definitely was super excited to be involved at that point, and it just kind of like evolved from there.
So let's get into your backgrounds a little bit, because you kind of were starting to touch on that. Are either of you, both of you, one of you from the Tucson area?
No, actually, none of us live in Tucson. None of like the team members, funnily enough. Yeah, it's
so can I ask, how did Tucson happen? Like, you told me the reason, but like, how did you zero in on it?
So I actually had a friend of mine years ago, this is back in 2005, that he was heavily into the Gem show down in Tucson, and he was he had a booth set up, and he was also kind of like-minded with us with music and all that, and said there was nothing going on down there. So initially in 2005, he said, I'll fund this event, come, you plan it and I'll fund it. Let's just see how it goes. And that's how it initially started. So it was kind of a place that just didn't have anything going on, and saw an opportunity. So we kind of just jumped on it.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. So if you're not from, if you're not from Tucson, if you're not from Arizona, you can each go. Where are you from, and what was your first like interest in music?
Josh?
Cool, I'll start.
You can think.
Yeah. I'm initially from Chicagoland area. Went to school out in Colorado in Boulder, and then moved to San Francisco. Was there for 9 years, and now I've been in Grass Valley, California, which is a small town in between Sacramento and Lake Tahoe, kind of in the Sierra foothills, for the past 4 years. And just kind of got tired of the city life. Living kind of in the country now. It's really nice. Cool little community up here. Get to do a lot of shows, and there's just a lot going on. It's kind of like a growing little hub for creative types and artists, kind of folks who got priced out of the Bay Area. But yeah, I'd say really like started getting into music like middle school, and then really in college. Actually, I knew that I was just so immersed in going to music festivals, going to as many shows as I can. I mean, the music scene in Colorado is just like so expansive. So I just knew that I had to kind of figure out some sort of career. I didn't know where or how. Had a couple internships at like a booking agency, at a record label, and then just kind of was really into this band STS9. And traveling all around, going to see shows, and going on tour with them basically. And their shows would end at midnight, and it's like, okay, there's a bunch of friends here, like shows over at midnight, we're still wanting to party, keep dancing kind of thing. There's nothing to do. Like, there's all these people here. There's this dedicated audience of folks who really just want to keep dancing. So STS9 headlined Red Rocks in Colorado for their first time in 2006, and put together a little after party for friends at a warehouse, and didn't really know what was going to happen. And just like the show sold out, all the stars were in alignment, and really just like the ball started rolling from there, just like gaining more and more momentum. Started doing official after parties for the band. They started all coming out to the after parties. They reached out being like, hey, you want to start like organizing official after parties for us? We'll help promote it. And so from there, that coalesced into doing standalone events, not just after parties. and was doing that basically since 2006. And yeah, it's just one of those jobs. I think, it's yeah, just a lot of like inherent motivation and internal satisfaction from being able to like put these events together and bring people together like this and create these moments for people to connect and really just have a great time and have that like enjoyment and connection. So that's what's kind of kept me going throughout all these years. And, I definitely get jaded in points in time, but, I feel like I still kind of have that same passion that I did, back as a young college student, trying to figure out how I was going to get my foot in the door.
A couple quick follow-ups while Toby's thinking. One, what was your major in college?
Communication.
So was mine.
Nice.
Yeah. And two, I wanted to just say, like, I think that your story is a very good example of how when you follow your passion and you get involved with your passion, the work can follow.
Totally. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, like speaking to anyone who is like really trying to like get their foot in the door in the industry or like make a career somehow in the music industry or really anything for that matter, like you said, anything you're passionate about. Yeah. It's really just speaks volumes to get as ensconced in that as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Good things will happen.
Good things will happen.
Yeah.
So Toby, how did you, when did you first feel
Well,
the call?
I grew up in Connecticut. Started listening to music at a really early age. My brother kind of got me really into music and kind of would just listen to steal his CDs and just check things out. Started seeing live music. I saw my first show, I think when I was 7. My parents actually brought me my brother and I to a Poison Tesla show at the Hartford Civic Center. So that was the first concert.
Great first show.
That was the first show, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that was
Your
great.
parents too, amazing.
What's that?
Your parents too, that's amazing.
Oh yeah, I don't think they knew what they were getting themselves into with that, but it was quite the experience. So yeah, fortunately for me, my brother would just kind of like bring me to shows with him. So I started going to shows probably in 8th grade, and all through high school, and then I started getting into this band Fish. And touring all around with them, with friends. And I went to school in Vermont, transferred out to Arizona. Actually, I was in Flagstaff, but this is prior to the Tucson thing happening. And then moved to Jackson Hole, moved to California. And during that period of time, I started getting really I was always kind of putting on parties. I was always hosting people. I always had that desire to bring people together and just kind of create a really, nice experience for everybody. I went to school for hospitality, and so that was kind of just in my blood naturally, just to bring people together. So I started kind of connecting with some friends that were in San Francisco. They had a DJ collective there, and they were doing a lot of shows, and it just got me excited to see the opportunity that I could run with there. So I started doing some shows in Jackson Hole with these guys. Started doing some stuff in California. Eventually, I started kind of did about 3 or 4 events that kind of just kept on scaling up in size. And that was at the point where the Gem and Jam thing kind of came into the spectrum. So jumped on that and started the first year. And with that, I guess after the second year, I had a business partner of mine from a new festival that came down, saw what I was doing, and had brought me into this other company called Symbiosis. And that's also grown. It's been around since 2005 as well. And that's progressed to, this last event we had was about 65,000 people up here in Oregon. So, just over time, it's sort of become, just part of life. It's not my full-time thing. It's kind of this event, as Josh is kind of more of a full-time guy. I kind of focus on this particular event, and I have different other careers, just spinning around as well. So it's sort of, this is my baby. This is kind of my passion project that I like to just keeps me alive.
What area of California are you based in?
I was in Santa Cruz, and now I'm actually up in Bend, Oregon.
Ah,
We
oh,
moved
yes, yes, yes,
here in
yes.
March.
Um, so, uh, oh shoot, hold on. It was a brilliant question. It has to be asked. First of all, I want to ask you, do you remember any of the like CDs, specific albums that you were listening to from your brother when you were a kid? Like, what's the first one you can like
Oh,
visualize?
first one that came to mind was Faith No More, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Primus. Those are some of the Grateful Dead. Those are some of the ones that initially got me started.
And you said you have multiple jobs going on. I think that a lot of creative people can relate to that because part of creative passion is you often, while you're pursuing the thing you love, you have to do 5 or 6 other things to make ends meet.
Sure.
Can I ask, like, with your hospitality degree, what are the other what is
Yeah,
something
yeah,
else you're
for sure.
working on?
So we have my wife and I transformed a 1965 Airstream into a high-end mobile bar. So we basically did this about 5 or 6 years ago, I guess. It was a completely gutted Airstream, and we rebuilt out the entire inside with, cedar, and it's got the refrigerator bar, taps in the back. It's all in line with aluminum. It's got a concession window that pops open. It's got a lounge in the back.
Very swanky.
What's that?
It's very swanky.
Yeah, it's pretty swanky. And so yeah, that was kind of on pause for a while. We had our daughter, who's 4 now, but it's right after she was born. It just became kind of a lot to be running this business as well. So it's kind of been on hold until we just got up here in March, and now it's kind of full effect again, back in business, trying to find a permanent location for it. So we would be like kind of a cocktail bar with food trucks around us is the long-term vision for this. But currently we're just going to be doing private events, things like that around the Bend area.
I mean, can it make it to Tucson? Can it be part of Jim and Jam?
Yeah, it's being talked about for sure. It's just a 24-hour drive from here. So I do have someone that's actually driving down from here to Bend that I'm figuring out a way that possibly could bring this thing down. So
Yeah, because
It was there in 2020, actually.
Was it?
Yeah, it was 20,
Yeah,
which
it
was
was.
not as long of a drive back then when I was in Southern California. But yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. I'll send you the link when we're done with the call.
Oh yeah, no, I'd love for people to see that. So your last show was in 2020, right before the world crashed. So
No, actually, it was 20. Sorry, it was 2021. It happened. 2020
Okay.
off. 2019 was the prior event. So, right, Josh?
Correct.
Yeah. So
No,
it's
no,
2019.
2020 was the last event.
Okay.
We took 2019 off.
No, I think you're wrong. I think because the event happened in 2021, right?
No.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, February 2020. I know, it's such a blur. It's like, wait a minute. Did that
The COVID
happen
thing,
last
everything.
year or 2 years ago?
Yes,
2 years
correct.
ago,
Yeah.
we got the first reported case. Here we are now.
Yes. So yeah, it was right before,
Um,
it was like February 2020, basically right before the shutdown and everything in March.
mhm.
So yeah, I think that really like left a lasting impression on a lot of people, being like, oh, this was the last festival I went to. I had such a great time. People really being able to like marinate on that a little bit. So then when we did come back out, it just like made that much bigger of a splash, and people talking about it with their friends. And yeah, so we got really lucky.
Have you been hearing from? Do you like hear back from those people, or like say like when are you going to do the next one, et cetera, et cetera?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, the event in 2020 was the best yet, I think, on like an energetic level, on a financial level, just all around things really clicking. It was our 3rd time in the new venue at the Pima County Fairgrounds, so really like dialed in the site. Like it takes a while to come to a new festival site and really settle in and figure out the layout and how things are going to run the most smoothly. So I feel like we really dialed it in. and people just across the board just had such a good time. Just like really like overwhelmingly positive feedback and responses, like minimal negativity, which, you know, it's bound to happen. You can't please everyone, but it was kind of astounding. Like we were like blown away.
I mean, having just watched Woodstock 99, I know how these things can go. These things could go south. What this year, I saw the lineup, which is impressive.
Thank you.
Feel free to highlight some of the people that you are most excited about performing, some of the groups, and some of the things that might be new or different this year that you're excited about.
Yeah, I think like overall, just kind of generally speaking, just the diversity of the music and the genres is something that we really strive for. And I think that also sets us apart from a lot of other festivals that are a little bit more genre specific, or the ones who are like this diverse are like 5 times as big. Mm-hmm. So I think that we kind of deliver this like really high-end experience on more of like a boutique level where, you know, you can see bluegrass, you can see techno, and all in the same day kind of thing. And, you know, our main stages don't overlap. So you're not like missing one of the acts that you really want to see. Everything is very condensed. Like the site is large, but it's literally like, you know, 10-minute walk from a stage to the other stage, if that. So yeah, some of those elements I think are really unique for us, just with you know, the programming that we put together. But yeah, going into like specific acts that I'm really excited about. I mean, like I've talked about initially, the band STS9, Sound Tribe Sector 9 will always kind of hold a special place for me, and it's like super nostalgic just because that was you know, a super instrumental piece of me getting into music and like the career that I'm in. Also, Spangle is an act that have worked with for many years, and just like a legendary artist. He's coming over from the UK and has had some shows that he was supposed to play, but has historically had some travel issues. So like we got that all squared away. So this is kind of like a big deal that he's playing for us this year. It'll be his first time at Gem and Jam. An act, Rising Appalachia, is 2 sisters who play like amazing, heartfelt, kind of folksy Americana. They have like an acoustic band behind them. We've been trying to book them for many years, and it just never worked out. Finally worked out this year. Super excited about this duo, Goldfish. They're 2 South African guys. They play like live bass and live saxophone and do like all the you know, live production on stage, and then they have the live instrumentation. It's just like a raging dance party, super fun. Yeah, I mean, really, like we put so much thought into curating the lineup, and each artist is really like hand selected, and like we put so much time into like curating this, like, so like each act really has like something really special and unique about it, and how it all like fits together is just something that's just like that magic that happens that you can't even like describe.
I mean, that was about as incredible a pitch as you could possibly ask for. But Toby, is there anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I was along with what Josh was saying. So we come from a very similar background with musical taste, and so the acts are very similar to what he just mentioned. Also Lotus, Opio, Random Rab, a few others that I'm really interested in. And yeah, I mean, it's very eclectic. It's all across the board. It's got something for everybody. It really, you can always find your place, no matter whatever stage. There's always going to be something that you can find that you're really going to enjoy.
You know, the word eclectic is coming to me when you guys are describing the festival. What, if you could describe what the vibe is at Gem and Jam, what do you think the vibe is?
The vibe is very intimate. It's you know, it's not a huge festival, roughly 5,000 to 6,000 people a day, but it has a very intimate feel to it. It's that you kind of see the same people. Everybody's very interactive. Everyone's, loving and supportive, and, and just kind of everyone's in a good mood. And you don't always get that at festivals. I think it's whatever it is about this event, it's unique because it's like the first real festival of the year in a warm place. So it kind of brings people, everyone's just in a really great mood to be there. So I think that's what's kind of makes it really cool. And the fact that there is so much crossover with music, that, your friend that loves bass music and you love folk music, you can meet in between because there's enough music there to kind of overlaps that just makes it, enjoyable for everybody.
I mean, and what more could you ask for there?
Yeah.
Do you have any final thoughts before we get to our lightning round questions?
Yeah, just to add to what Toby said, just in terms of like the overall vibe, it's like a very like creative kind of energy, because we also go like very heavy on our art offerings. It's really kind of, the festival has grown into like one of the like premier festivals for like live painters and a really high-end art gallery. And we really like curate these, interactive art installations. Just, we want to like inspire people and feel that same feeling that like we felt when we were, had this amazing peak experience at a show. Like we're trying to basically do that. So, there's just so much going on. We really try to have like really high-end programming and just a lot of different things going on. There's workshops during the day, there's yoga, there's panel discussions kind of thing. The healing zone and wellness area that Toby mentioned, you can get a massage or acupuncture or body work, sound healing. So yeah, just like that creative kind of energy is really something we go after. And just like, the art obviously is a big piece of this festival as well. We're definitely putting like a lot of intention into that piece.
That's incredible. I mean, I kind of would love to be involved in all of those massages and meditation, and
yeah, you got to come out.
I mean, like, good Lord, music and relaxation. What more could you possibly ask for?
Kind of goes hand in hand if you really think about it.
I mean, that's very hippie of you to make that observation.
For sure. For sure.
Okay, so it is time for me to just throw you some rapid fire questions. And this is just kind of like a lovely getting to know you. My only instruction here is say the first thing that comes to your head. Okay? Don't think. All right? All right. So first of all, analog or digital?
Analog.
Digital.
Oh, controversy. Would you rather be in San Francisco or Tucson?
San Francisco.
San Francisco.
Okay. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Dogs.
Would you rather be in the sunshine or the rain?
Sunshine.
Rain.
I like it when there's a difference. If you had a snow day, would you build a fort or would you stay inside?
Fort.
Build a fort.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Coffee.
Be a Jedi or a Sith?
Jedi.
Jedi.
Jazz or classical music?
Jazz.
I'm gonna go classical.
You're just trying to be different. That's all that's. Are you gonna lounge by the pool or the beach?
Beach.
Pool.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
Africa.
Ah, genius. Amazing.
Elderly woman behind a counter of a store, Pearl Jam.
Nice, nice. I mean, you're not blessing rains in Africa, but
That sounds good.
If you could, would you rather only be able to speak in emojis over text message, or never be able to text again?
Never be able to text again.
Same.
Okay. It would get confusing after a bit. We can make a call. And finally, the most controversial question on here: pineapple on pizza?
Sure.
Down.
Okay.
That was controversial.
I felt the tension as soon as I asked it. Also, okay, I actually have one more question. This one's very specific to you guys. Gem or jam?
Jam.
Jam.
Awesome. And you can jam. This is what we call a segue. You can jam in Tucson, Arizona at the Pima County, is that right? Fairgrounds.
Fairground. Yes, sir.
Starting on the 4th of February, 2022, going through the 6th, that's a Friday to a Saturday. And I meant to say Sunday. In my head, I was thinking Sunday. That's a Saturday. Nope, a Friday to a Sunday. And you can join this festival, which started in 2005 and has been running strong and has these cool guys running the whole show. So make sure you guys make it out. Where can people get tickets?
Gemandjam.com.
Can't get simpler than that. All right. Thank you guys for joining us here.
Thanks so much. It's a lot of fun. Hope to see you out at the festival.